Why am I so excited about Claude for Business? Why is it that I, as a small business owner, am here to help people learn how to use Claude in business? Because this isn't just about writing emails, it's way more than that, like building proposals, strategy documents, content calendars, and entire systems. Claude wins over ChatGPT in three major areas. It has a huge context window. That means that you can upload entire strategy documents or meeting transcripts, and Claude can reference all of it. So you kind of have your brain within Claude for any project that you're working on. So that memory persists. And so you also have this projects feature, which allows you to organize work by client or business area with custom instructions and reference files. That way it remembers, like it knows for this particular workflow or process or client to always check the memory and go through certain processes and skills, as we'll see. The other really cool thing with Claude is that it builds so quickly, so nicely and beautifully downloadable or interactive HTML pages like launch plans and SOPs. Like an artifact could be an offer, it could be a plan, it could be an SOP, it could be a resource, it could be one of those like lead magnets. So Claude does that really easily, and we'll see that really quickly, and we'll see that. The other thing that's a superpower of Claude is skills, and you can create repeatable workflows. So basically, SOPs or processes that you always do the same way, but you give it the skill to do it your way. So you customize either existing skills or you can build your own skills. So then Claude can actually perform business tasks on its own because it has a skill to do so. Now, to begin, we need to download Claude Desktop app for macro Windows. So let me share my screen. So the first thing you want to do is go and download the Claude Desktop app. You'll see it in your applications once you have. And you're going to log in with your Claude account. Now, to use all of the features, ideally, you'll have the minimum paying plan, $20 a month. If not, you can test it for free. But if you want the full scope of capabilities, definitely the paid plan will be best. So mine looks black, but yours could be white. Either way, here's your chat. So you can start a new chat. You can have your projects. So I have a sales pipeline and how to use Claude Project. Artifacts are here. We'll take a look customizing it. But before we do all that, let's take a look at settings. So first we want to go to our settings at the bottom here on your name. And here we want give instructions for Claude. So tell Claude who you are, what you do, and how you want it to respond. Like explain, the tone, basically the level of communication. You also should turn on also generate memory from chat history, because this allows basically Claude to search for relevant details in past chats, which helps a lot. It's like it has all this history about you. So it's going to give you even better responses relevant to you. And if you have the generate memory from chat history, then it will also remember the context from the chats over time, and it helps a lot with making it more personal to you. And then one other one we want to make sure is on is artifact, which it is. So AI-powered artifacts, we can also turn that on. Inline visualizations, yes, all of that is turned on. Okay, so now this is saved already. I don't need to allow anything else here. Go back to settings and go back to our main area. So you can already see all these artifacts that I have, but before we get into that, let's talk about projects. Projects is how you organize your work. You can organize projects kind of like it's a collaboration space. You can organize it by client or by workflow. So for example, I can have a project on invoicing or accounts payable, invoice every first of the month, client, create project. And within that project, it's a folder where you will put all of the things that are related to it, including the memory files, the MD files. So we would create the project, let's say here. And now invoice every first of the month. Here, the memory file is going to be created once we start chatting, and the files that are related to it will be shown here. And here you're going to actually start the project, start working on this invoicing project. It could be, hey, like, I want to make sure this is done. What is the best way to do that within Claude? How should I do this? And then it even says start a task in Cowork from this, basically. So there's a relationship between chat and Cowork here. Start a chat to keep conversation organized and reuse project knowledge. So your chat is going to directly feed into the memory and instructions for this project, and you can keep adding to it here. Once we go to Cowork or Code, a project is also a folder. Basically, the two are related at that point. So here, when you start a new project, you can start from a scratch, set up a new folder, import a project. So from the chat, the one I just started invoicing, I can bring it here. So here it is. And you can also use an existing folder from your, let's take a look here, from my desktop or my downloads and so on. So that's how it works in Cowork or Code. Otherwise, in chat, it's where you keep all this information about this project that you add to over time. And then you can export it and use it in Cowork or Code from there. Then let's take a look at customize. That's the other important thing here. We can have skills and connectors. So connectors, you can connect to Canva in my case, GitHub, Gmail, Google Calendar. This is a database. I also set up Claude in Chrome, which is a browser extension in Chrome that allows Claude to go and, crawl your browser for information and do things on your behalf. You can also search other connectors here. For example, Slack would be a common one. Take a look. There's Slack, Notion if you're a Notion user. These are just some examples of things I don't have. Then we have also the payment one, Square. Here's Square and Stripe and QuickBooks. So these are just some options. There's so many, many more. Then there's also skills. And skills help you already set up tasks in advance with a lot of more detail. But you can also create your own skills. Like right now, Web Artifacts Builder, I could add that as a skill. Probably should actually. Let's take a look. Okay. Then we also have plugins, and these are for different functions. It's basically like departments, a department skill set. A plugin has multiple skills under it. So it's not like you are the Department of Marketing, you're doing different kinds of strategy, you could be in design, but the marketing department has all of those skills. So you can see if you click on the marketing plugin, you can draft a blog post with SEO, plan a multi-channel campaign, review content against our brand voice, and so on. And you see all the skills that are contained in that plugin. So now that we know where all of this is, you can go through this and take a look. But for example, let's take a look and run. Let's get out of here. Get a new project, create an offer from a meeting. So I want Claude to grab a specific recording transcript from Google Drive. Then the correct file is used for the proposal writer skill. And so that way it extracts pricing and dates, saves the proposal in Notion, and drafts a follow-up email in Gmail. In my case, it will be in Drive, and drafts a follow-up email in Gmail. So now I'll create the project. Then now I'll ask it. Here I have a connector to my Drive already. I'm pretty sure of that. I can double check, of course. Where are connectors? Okay, I have Gmail and Google Calendar, but not Drive. So I can come here, browse connectors. And there we go. I just added it really quickly. There you go. Connected. And now back to the desktop app. Now it's updated. I have it in my list here, Google Drive. Let's run that skill and let's run this and see what happens. Okay, so it's telling me now, I can support you right now. Search Google Drive for your recording transcript by client name, date, or keywords, and pull the document content. Run the proposal writer skill. Once I have the transcript, I'll extract the client's needs, pricing discussed, draft a follow-up email in Gmail. So I'm going to use this. Okay, so I told it to go in my coaching sessions notes and see what it can get from there. I don't usually record client meetings, so I don't have meeting notes, but this is most people do, and you should. but this should work either way. So it found a whole bunch of things. It's basically doing an analysis with the offers that it found in these documents. And then I'm going to ask it, create an artifact. Write a proposal for any of these offers using the proposal writing skill. There you go. Draft a follow-up email. Okay, so we're going to do 1, 2, and create an artifact with the 3 offers proposal. So now it's asking me questions just to understand better. So this will take likely like a few minutes, up to 5 minutes. Okay, so we went through a process here with artifact. Let's take a look. So backtracking, I asked it to go search for my coaching notes folder and extract 3 offers or offers from it. And it did that. It went and found 3 offers. And I told it to now create an artifact and also prep an email. It asked me for the client email. I gave my own just to take a look. First, it wanted to give me a Word doc file, but I didn't really want that. And so I asked it for an HTML response instead. I didn't really like this inline one. I wanted one that I can open in a URL. For example, we can download this as HTML. We can add it to project if we want, so we don't lose it. Or publish it. Let's publish it and see what happens. Publish and copy link, copy. And now you can actually share it with people. To get from here to here, I basically asked it to give me a URL for the artifact. And I also said, use my website colors. I don't like the dark original DAC background. And it gave me, this is like matching my website. So now this is like the URL that I copied. I just put it in a browser, Chrome, and this is what it gave me. And I can now share that with other people. And let's see if this URL works. Yeah. Open link, it takes it to my website. So I could send this as a client proposal to a potential client and then have this link to a checkout button with, different checkouts so the client can buy my offer then and there. And it's customized to that client. So this is what artifacts can do, and it could be in whatever, document format you want. It doesn't have to be this way, but this is a very shareable way. Otherwise, it could be like a regular document and end up on your drive. And then it also gave me an email that it prepped, and here it is. It gave me 2 options, a warm and inviting, direct and concise. I'll say I prefer warm and inviting, and I can send this via Gmail here. Yeah, there you go. It's populated. I just have to put 2. I'll put my sister as an example. And there we go. I can send it to her or obviously change it. So I won't do that now. I'm just going to delete it. But you can see how powerful this is just from chat. We haven't even scratched the surface of Cowork yet or Claude Code. But this is so cool to be able to create documents so quickly. And then from there, it's so cool to be able to create documents that you can share with people so quickly in such a polished way. Always for design, use the front-end design skill. And the more you use, you can look up skills. If you're doing something specific, you can look up skills in GitHub repos. It's always easy to go to GitHub and search the trending skills. I don't do that enough, but you definitely should. If you want to learn more about how to set up Claude like this, if this was useful, I'm going to be having a webinar June 3rd, 7 p.m. Eastern on a Wednesday to show you exactly how to set up Claude in a group setting. We're limiting this to 50 seats. Want to make sure everyone gets something out of it. It's 90 minutes live workshop, which means that you're going to get a lot of value out of it. We're doing everything live. And if you already have a Claude subscription, especially, this is going to give you so much value to turbocharge your productivity with Claude. So I hope to see you there. I will put more information in the description and the caption. So join me June 3rd and see you there.